It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, what is going on? Thanks for being back with me for another edition of the Daily Doug. I am very thankful that you are joining me today on a Friday. My friends, we have made it to the end of another week, and it is another Masterpiece Friday. And I am glad that you are here because today we're going to be listening to music for the very first time on this channel by the Allman Brothers Band. This has been a band that has been requested for several months, and today is their day. And of course, I have heard of the Allman Brothers Band. I have heard some of their music, but I was realizing that I really am not very well read in on their history and much of their discography. So we're going back to near the beginning with Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers Band. This is from their 1969 debut album. It was written by Gregg Allman, but we're not listening to the original studio version. We are going to the 23-minute live version of this from their double live album at Fillmore East from 1971, where this song takes up the entire final side of the album. And I have high hopes for this one, y'all, because as I was reading in 2002, Rolling Stone magazine wrote that this was, quote, the finest live rock performance ever committed to vinyl. So I think we're in for a treat, y'all. And because it is a Masterpiece Friday, we've got a cocktail moment today. I have brought along our Redbreast Irish whiskey. This is some of our favorite stuff, and so I'm going to give a little pour there. Very good. And this is going to accompany us as we go through today's selection. So, my friends, cheers. All right. Like I said, Gregg Allman is the writer of this, and in this performance we've got Dwayne Allman on lead guitar and slide guitar. Gregg Allman is on the organ, piano, and vocals. Dickie Betts is on the guitar. Barry Oakley is on the bass. Jai Johansen is on the percussion, and Butch Trucks is on the drums. And quite frankly, I think Butch Trucks is a great name for a drummer. Just putting that out there. So let's dive in, y'all, to the Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers Band. Like I said, I have heard the original of this, but it's been a long time, and I don't think I've ever heard this extended live version. So strap in. Like I said, it's a 23-minute take. We're going to go right through it and see what we can figure out. I'm expecting some cool singing, some cool grooving, and a lot of great solos. So let's dive in. The Allman Brothers Band Whipping Post live at Fillmore East from 1971, almost 50 years ago that this was recorded. Here we go.
We got a little number from our first album we're going to do for you.
From their first album.
Starts her off.
Whipping Post. That guy got his name or his shout out on this album. That's pretty cool. Cool. They're just shorting they're shorting that last beat. But now it's just straight 12/8, compound 4. Major 4, major 5. Got a lot of soul to his voice, doesn't he? Okay, so in this little bridge, they're in 11/8. And then for like the solos, they straighten it out and just go to a straight compound 4. That's cool. So we've heard of the first verse and the first chorus. Now it sounds like we're just into some solos. So far this solo is just over the 1 chord, it's on an A chord. Some polyrhythms. Because underneath it, it's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. But underneath it, you can also go ba, 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 ba. So you can do it in 2s or 3s, and you get that cross relation. There's several versions of this song done live. There's actually a shorter version of this that I saw from Fillmore East that was from 1970 instead of 1971, but this is the version that made it on that famous live album. Harmonically, they're not really going very far. This solo, this extended solo so far is really just over 1 chord. So you can kind of go in various places throughout the measures, maybe even over a 4-bar phrase, but you gotta land back on end, right? Especially for the bass player. A lot of crap going on in the world, y'all, and it's just nice to just sit back and listen to some great music and just enjoy the day a little bit. So to all of you, cheers. Thanks for being with me on a Friday. Boy, they're really extending this. I ain't mad at it though. Verse 2. My friends tell me that I've been such a fool.
And I just stand by and take it, baby. Oh, for loving you. I drown myself in sorrow as I look at what you've done. When nothing
Sounds like they're using an A major chord sometimes. 4 chord, major 4. Look at the E.
I feel like I'm dying.
Cool. I mean, it's not cool that he feels like he's dying, but the music sounds cool. Y'all get what I'm talking about. 11 again. Now they're not doing it anymore. Okay, Okay, so they've done verse 2 and another chorus. So now we settle in for some more improvisatory solos. Really have enjoyed getting to know these new headphones that I've gotten this month. These are Sennheiser HD600s. I've been using my Bose headphones for years, like more than a decade. And these open back headphones with have just a little bit more ambiance. You feel like you're in the room with them. It's a really great sound, especially with these live recordings. And the solos are really in 4-measure sections. So you do 4, 2, 3, and it kind of resets, right? Then bar 2, bar 3, and bar 4, and the intensity kind of grows, and then you reset, right? So that's sort of the macro, it seems like, way that they're organizing the sections of these freely improvised sections. So they all kind of have an idea of, once we commit to another set of 4, that's the set of 4. We'll see you again on the other side. There's that 2 against 3. Right? Great bass playing. So, the song is called Whipping Post, right? So, what is a whipping post? He's talking about a metaphorical whipping post. But historically, you know, these things are also called a pillory. It's literally this post that you tie people to, and you put their hands through the handholds and the head through a head hole, and you publicly humiliate them and hurt them, whip them for punishment, for crimes. People are made an example of in the public square. It's not just hurting them or punching them, it's making sure that all of their friends see it. You know? And so he's making this metaphorical, homage to this as part of this relationship. And he feels like it's out in the open. You know, this I'm screwed, and I feel like I'm dying, and I feel like I'm out in front for everybody to see. It's a very vulnerable and potentially hurtful situation. So we've gotten to a slowdown section. That's really smooth how they found this little slower groove. And in a piece like this, where you're going to be doing extended solos, a lot of time the power of the solo is not in how many notes you play, but it's in how it's paced and how many notes you don't play, and making each note worth it, exactly what you want to say. I love how they're giving this time, especially in the rhythm section, the bass and the drums, just a chance to set this up, and then the guitar just lightly comes in, and then now it's talking a little bit more at us now. I read that this recording specifically got a lot of airplay on prog rock stations in the 70s. I wouldn't consider it a progressive song, mainly because I don't think the harmonies are extremely experimental. It's a relatively simple song harmonically, but they've got a little bit of that rhythmic alteration in some of those 11/8 sections, but the length of it and the ability to just chill and listen for a while, I think, is what gave it its appeal back in the day, and it's what I'm finding quite lovely today. And just trying to empathize with the members of the band, and just, this is sort of planned, I'm assuming, but they're also just kind of following each other. Because as I looked into stuff, all of these different, they have like different versions of this song from different nights of this concert run that they did at the Fillmore East, and each one of the songs differs in length, up to a couple or 3-4 minutes difference. Still in A. Up to B in the bass. There's the flat 6. And there's the 5 chord on the E. Back to A. You jump a tritone from the B, the second of the key, down to the F, the flat 6 of the key, before it resolves to E and then back. So you hear that in the bass? It's a cool sound, it's a neat progression. Almost becomes a bit of a lament, right? If he keeps singing, "Good Lord, I feel like I'm dying," I think a lament is perfectly appropriate. Straight 12/8 this time. Four-measure phrases actually come from classical technique, right? Mozart was the one, more than anybody in classical history, to set up these four-measure phrases that we still use, because they mimic human breath and how long we have before we need to tank up and do another phrase, right? It's about the right amount of time. And even instruments that don't need breath to sound
sometimes I
You know, do the same thing.
sometimes I
4 to 5. That is a extension on this cadence. They did the chorus. Sometimes I feel like I've been tied to the whipping post, and then they went down. They were doing the 4 chords and the 5 chords, and they went down to that third of the key, the C, which is the relative major of where they have been in A minor mostly the whole time. And they're just hanging out there. And it almost feels like they're in C, but this is like a continuation of that cadence, that final cadence. So you're just stretching that. The fact that it's over the third of the key is interesting to me. There's some timpani in the background. Sounds like tuned to drums back there. I read that Greg Allman was 21 when this song was first recorded. You know, a lot of these songs that we've done from about 50 years ago, the early 70s and mid 70s, and you think about how young these musicians were that made these epic songs, and they've lasted the test of time. They're still on that C chord, y'all. This is the only part of this that I find a little bit of fault with. I think it's too long of a stretch. But when you're doing improv, and it's kind of open like this, open-ended, you never know where it's going to lead. Timpani in the background, right? Are they going to end it in the major key? There they finally get to it. Right? I wonder if we're going to get to hear the chorus again. We're getting not too far from the ending. If I was to compare this long section here to a classical piece, it would be a cadenza. Right? A little extended solo improv section over the top of kind of the final big cadence of the piece before it goes towards its real conclusion.
Oh, sometimes. Oh, sometimes.
Really tasteful percussion too. Cool echo.
Oh, don't you know that I feel
there in the bass. That's cool. A little extension. Highlighting the 7th and the 9th above that A chord and these other instruments as they extend this even longer. Timpani in the background still. Wow, there it was. You know, it's been a heavy week, y'all. We did some Rammstein earlier this week. We did some Tool. And we got a little bit of a break yesterday with some Tender Surrender from Steve Vai. But this one, even though the guy is talking about, a bad situation, right? He says, I've been run down and I've been lied to. I don't know why. I let that mean woman make me a fool. She took all my money, wrecks my new car. Now she's with one of my good time buddies. They're drinking in some crosstown bar. That sounds like a country song if I've ever heard it. But at least back in the late 60s and early 70s, it was a rock song. And they're talking about it, you know. It's funny as I remember the beginning of this, the guy that we hear yelling out "whipping post," right? I have heard over the years people trying to be that guy, like on a live recording. It's like, I wonder if I yell out "Freebird," if I'll be on this live recording by Leonard Skinner. The place I've heard it the most, I've been to several concerts by Jackson Browne over the years, and I'll hear people go like "Pretender," and he'll be like, I just played that, come on. But it's live concerts are such a neat experience because you've got all these people together and we're having a shared experience, and it's something that can tie us together a little bit, you know. It's like, oh, did you just hear that? Because I just heard that. We're in the same room. We're made better by that. Really, really great stuff from the Allman Brothers Band. We'll have some more from these guys, I think, coming up in the coming weeks and months. But that's all for today. Thank you all for hanging out with me on a Friday. This has been a fun one to kind of chill and relax to, listen to some great soloing. So, my friends, cheers, and we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.